Hello, everyone. I hope y'all had a good day. This one is entitled Early Morning More Cream. So, when I was doing ride share, I did a lot of rides early in the morning. And there was definitely more cream because the early bird gets the worm, which is a cliche as we all know. However, in my experience, it is an accurate one. In the morning, usually almost every day of the week, people are headed to work. And the thing is, most people that aren't working, some are up, and then some don't really want to be up. And if they are up, there's a sector of people that don't want to be up and on the road driving. However, if you like how I was when I was doing ride share, getting up at early to me is like 3:30, 4. Um, it's a lot of opportunity out there, a lot of money to be made. When I would do that, it was a beautiful thing to see because the app was just going off the charts. I would sometimes start like let's say 4:30, and it's a good 3 hour period where it's just going off. Like you drop someone off, the app chirps again, and it's just always good to be up that early outside of earning the cream. And when I say cream, I mean the money. Making the money is helping people. Those are two great things, and to just realize like, wow, I'm up. I remember there were times I was up in the morning, the stars were out, birds were chirping, of course the dogs were barking, and which never really stops, which is construction being done. That's when most of the construction get done is in the wee hours of the morning, uh, preferably around like 2, 3 in the morning, because most people are asleep. But anyhow, back to the topic at hand. Early morning more cream, picking people up, taking them to places that they need to be. It could be to the airport. It could be to work. It could be to their friends. It could be to a hotel. It could be to the gym. People are up, and if one really wants to make that money, get up early in the morning, and it doesn't really matter how far you take the person. Now, normally, as you know, or you will learn if you're in ride sharing, usually the farther the distance that you have to take a client, the higher the fee is for you, or the higher the fare. However, when it's early in the morning, it don't matter. They can be 5 miles from you, 10 minutes from you. You can have to drive an hour. The payout is still amazing. It's well worth it. And the beautiful thing about picking up people in the morning, like in my experience, most of them go right back to sleep. I remember picking up people at the wee hours. They get in the car. I'll say hello, good morning, things of that nature. They'll say good morning. And before you know it, they'll be asleep. Now, of course, that could have been due to my great driving or my horrible driving, depending on who you ask. Or they just had a long day. Or it's early in the morning. I had to take a few people to the hospitals one time. They were like nurses, a few EMS individuals. They were knocked out. They would throw their headphones on. They had the ones that covers your ears, like the big ones, the big headphones. Then they have the little small ones. But either way, they'll go straight to sleep. And that was good for me. They'll have their music playing. I remember one of the pastors one time told me that they listen to different sounds and things of that nature. Hey, whatever it takes for them to enjoy their ride and get into their sleep pattern and try to get the stage forward. But I was always alert, and it felt so peaceful. Of course, I knew it was an individual or individuals in my back seat, but it was just quiet. You know, every blue moon, some folks would get into my vehicle and they would want to talk in the morning, things of that nature. And, I'm always up for a good conversation. I like to be a listening ear, because that's part of my responsibility outside of the main one, which is getting the client to where they need to be, which is listening to what they're going through or what they're embarking on. And some people, they would get in the car and they be wired in a good way, like they just had like some great coffee from the local coffee spot, or about 90% of the time they probably just made it from home, given the time of the day it was, or time of the morning. But yeah, either a person getting in the car talking or not talking, either way was always a win for me. Um, because again, I was helping people in the money aspect of it. I'm not going to lie to you all. I mean, the second reason I got into ride sharing was for the money. The first reason was to be of service to people. And the people were definitely of service to me, because even the folks that went to sleep, they would wake up halfway before me getting them to their job or wherever they needed to be. And they'd be like, hey, I'm going to tip you cash and I'm going to tip you on the app. And, I was just grateful. I was like, hey, thank you. Then they would say, hey, no, thank you. You picked me up. I wouldn't even be up at this time of morning. I would be knocked out. Sometimes it was husbands telling me how they would still be knocked out with their wife if they could be. Sometimes it was women telling me they would rather be knocked out with their husband. And then of course it was single folks telling me they'd rather just be in their bed, sleep. You know, kind of unfortunate that it's a Monday morning. But as I would always tell them, hey, it's gonna be over quick. Luckily you're getting it out the way, and then once it's out the way, you can press on and you know move forward and try to get some sleep once they're off. It was just great. Like I said, it was just a great experience. Getting up early and getting to helping people is very beneficial when you're doing rideshare. The money is out there. The people need to get to where they need to go. And even the people that like driving, depending on the day of the week, they may not even want to drive, so they'll need your service. And you will get paid heavenly. You'll be smiling. You'll be grateful. In fact, there was times I was so grateful. I was like, I wish it could stay dark, completely dark for like 5 hours, like from 4 to 9, it just stayed dark. But I know it had nothing to do with it. I know that it had nothing to really do with how long it was. It was more so people at a certain point don't want to be up. So that window, that 3 to 6 range, yeah. I remember specifically getting rides where, it'd be like $20, and then with the surge, with the time of the morning, it would be like an additional 25, an additional 20. And that's not even counting in what I was tipped at the time. It was wonderful. It was definitely wonderful. And in fact, it was so wonderful that I would just try to drive my 12 hours straight through. I wouldn't even stop. That is true. Like I said earlier, that cliche, early bird get the worm. Some people think that, oh, that just sound good. That's just a parable. And yeah, that's true. It does sound good, and it is a parable. However, when you get up in the morning and you get to it when nobody is up, think about it. One of the benefits of being up early in the morning, getting more cream, is you get to the gas station. Ain't really too many folks at the gas station. It's not really too many people on the road. It's not really traffic like that. The only thing you really have to be on the lookout for are them cops. Those cops, they be out though. They be out doing their job. Shout out to all the cops out there. They doing their thing, taking care of their responsibilities. And other than that, it's just they're out, construction workers and other folks trying to get to work. Things don't start really getting tight. As far as when I say tight, I mean like traffic and people in the nuisance of being on the road until like 6:37. But that's why it's beneficial for you to know back roads. But it's just since you was up so early in the morning, and the money flowing like a beautiful wave of water, you get to a point where you're not even tripping. You're just happy and grateful, like how I was. I would Like I said, I would start about 3:30. By the time it's like 8 o'clock, I'm looking at what I done made, and I'm like, man, this is good. And another thing, when you don't wake up in the wee morning to start your day, you do notice the difference once you start waking up in the wee hours in the morning. Being an early riser, getting to the cream, you like, wow, that would made me, and maybe you all can relate. Even if you don't do ride share, when you get up early in the morning, like traveling, when you get up in the morning, if you look at ride share like traveling, though you're not making no money, but you could be doing it for a goal or something, you get up early in the morning, you get it out the way. Um, really no trouble, no traffic, and it's a great thing. And that's what you think to yourself, like, I'm glad I got up early. And you may be hating it in the moment, but by the time it's done, you glad. So when I was, like I said, when I was doing ride share and early mornings, it was always more cream. Every time. Every time. Um, Before I go, I'll say this. If you like, I mean, when you get up, you can just turn on the app, and depending on where you are, if you're in a major city like I was in DFW, people are up. And if you're in the DFW area, and you like, hey, well, people, it's not, the app not going off at 3:30 in the morning, go to the airport, go to DFW, go to Dallas Love Field. It will go off. It's just like a hub. People are always coming in and going out, and people always need rides. But it all depends on you. Like I said, if you wake up early in the morning, you can get to the cream. So that's all. Go and get my book from Amazon, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace.